have two agendas on the meeting. One is to talk about crowd management. One is to talk about positional learning. And well, we went 10 minutes late, and I have scheduled myself for 30 minutes to talk about it. Alvin has scheduled himself for another 30 minutes, so probably we are overrun. So, do I rush everybody or rush everything? I have the pressure on time, right? So I want to move everything. So that's why I was so anxious at the very beginning to get this guy to pay attention so that I can get started. But if I did in the not so appropriate way, I may not get the attention. But later on, I may upset this guy, and he might be like asking questions or doing some other funny things to further delay my process. So sometimes we need to get attention of people, like because we want to give them instructions, information, announcement, or keep things moving, right? But again, when we do that, to me, getting attention or doing all this is like actually part of a communication, right? It's two parties. Whether it's one-on-one or one to a big group, it's still a communication. And again, I want to throw you this idea. It's a basic psychology on communication. Probably you may have heard about this from your schoolwork, college, university, or whatever. This may not be new to you, but I want to throw you this idea. When we do communication, there is always a sender and a receiver, right? As a sender, if I want to get your attention, if I want to do something onto you as my group, as a group, I always start with my thinking, my intent. I was asked to talk about crowd management. I have the best intent to give you all with my previous experience in my schoolwork, my university days, although it was many years ago, and my work experience and my volunteer experience, right? And I have all these cue cards with me. That's the best intent. But again, if I deliver it in a way that I want to talk to other kids, but why did you even listen? You follow what I'm saying. Okay, so what are you doing sitting here? You're just staring at me. You're not listening. You're not participating. If I do it in a way I upset everybody in a not so appropriate way. So even I have the best intent of preparing all this, do you think I would get the message across? Do you think you would be sitting here listening? Probably you may have your own small conversation somewhere here. You may have somebody walk out of the room. Oh, I want to go to the washroom. I want to do this, right? Have you chances are you think of something like that happen when you are talking in the group, or when you are in a group, somebody talking to you and you don't get the attention, you don't pay the attention, right? So the thing is, I may have the best intent to give you all this information, which this will take 2 hours to get. But so with my intent, I would translate this into my behavior. And then you, as a receiver, you will receive it as your perceived seed. Right? This is an interesting model. The way that you look at it is whatever I do, then you will look at it, you will perceive a behavior from me. And the funny thing is, in many cases, when I do something, it's natural for me to judge myself by my intent. I have the best intent. I want to get attention. I want this guy to play a good role in the group, and then be a good member of the group. In order for me to move the group forward, I may have the best intent, but if my behavior is not being perceived that way by the receiver, then chances are I may be getting a totally opposite result. So this is an interesting model. As I said, probably you may have learned about it, you may have seen this before, but I just want to level set this again on that. So why do I bring this up? Because when we when we talk to a group, and many times it's my intent, I want to make an announcement. Many times I want to give you some instruction. Many times I want to get the program moving. As I said, I have a timeline agenda. I don't want to overrun this until 5:30 or 6 o'clock. You will be bored to death. But if I'm not doing it appropriately or in a way that are being perceived as acceptable by the group, then chances are we won't be able to get it. So where do we stand here? So far so good? Or any questions, comments? All right, so go back to crowd management. Okay. So again, I think many of you all have experience in doing that. But I put it this way, I've seen a lot of good announcements. And I also seen some announcements that may require some polishing. And of course, the way that I'm doing it myself, I don't think I can do it every time, right? But I'm trying to say, hey, if I have to make an announcement or if I have to get an attention from the crowd, I always go back and think, what do I want to do? What's my purpose? If I may divide this process into a few portions, right? I always say I have to prepare myself first. And then I have to think of the environment of delivery. And then I deliver. To me, I would say it's common sense to me because it's like a communication model. Just like any communication. Right? When you talk to someone, you have to at least formulate the idea. And then you really deliver. And of course, you have to find an environment which is conducive to a positive communication. Right? So going back to this, I would say, hey, if I were to make an announcement, or I have to get the attention of the crowd, what do I have to do? I would have to prepare myself, like what I'm doing now. If I have to prepare this, then I have to prepare myself. Preparing in two senses. If I want to make my messages to be simple and direct. If you're going to make an announcement, make it short, make it quick. Imagine if you're hearing an announcement that will drag on for 5-10 minutes or even 15 minutes. What would you say? What would you think? You may be bored because it's natural that people's span of attention is not that long. You can get the attention of a particular person for a few minutes. If you do not change the subject, you lose them. Okay, it's part of the thing that I learned from public speaking. When you do public speaking, people always say if you want to get the attention of people, change the subject, or at least change the idea after like a few minutes. If you drag on the same idea for too long, people would just be wandering around because it's natural. People are thinking a lot faster than they listen. The same thing is the people are thinking a lot faster than they speak. So consider that. Prepare your announcement, make it direct, make it simple. And the other thing that I would encourage people to do when you make an announcement, have you seen people making an announcement saying that they do not get the crowd or get the people ready, and then they rush to make the announcement? Now, one example I've seen this year in Levi is very good. You remember this? Right? You remember this? I find this is very good. This is a very good way to get attention of people. I would say if you're going to announce something, get the attention of people first before you start your announcement. Don't rush into it. Say, for example, if I want to do something and everybody is talking, right? So I start doing this. And if I don't get everybody to stop talking, I would suggest don't start any announcement.